Welcome to Fright Night. For real.
Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are on a Sunday night, ready to enter back into Battle World. Kills with me, of course, and Eric. Guys, tonight we've got a fun one, a triple threat in the classics, and I can't wait to get down to this. Man, real quick, let's start with the audience here, because I want to also give a shout out to our man Christopher, who's one of our patrons, who actually came up with a version of this idea, really had pitched it, and has like a ton, has like 12 or I don't even know how many, like a dozen different suggestions for us. So thanks so much, man, for being part of the Patreon and also giving some awesome ideas for Battle War. But let's see who's in the chat. All right. So we've got RJ in the house. What's up, RJ? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. We got Melissa. We got hey, Jason's in the house. Hey, man, how's it going? Good to see you. All right. Apollo, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. We got Super Tenor in the house. What's up, Super Tenor? We got the General with us, Val, saying good evening. What's up?
Hey, Val.
And look at this. There he is there. Christopher, what's up, man? In the house. My mind, body, and soul are ready for this today. Now, let me just say this, and as you guys know, we have a couple different rules for Battle World, and I'm going to explain those in just a second. But let's start this off with a super chat clip for Christopher, who actually pitched this idea. And you know, Kill, sometimes when you're a fan of certain things, it can get a little out of hand, and it might look like this.
Good to be back.
I don't even know what I just saw.
I think it's better not to ask sometimes, Kel.
The look on your face was classic. You're like, wait a minute, what? What is going on? All right. So, Christopher, thank you so much, man. We appreciate all the support. And just to say, Christopher, if you want to put that 5 points, because it's a $5 super chat, you can put the 5 points to the film of your choice that we are having in this triple threat tonight. So let us know. All right. Jerry's in the house. We got Kelly. What's going on? And welcome to everyone jumping in. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps to support us. We appreciate it. What's up, Chuck? All of you guys. All right. Let's do this, man. Let's talk about what we got going on. Kill, we've got 3 competitors tonight. One of them is from Elm Street. And Eric, I know you're a big fan of that man from Haddonfield who just, look, you can't kill him. You know that. And Killian, we've got one other competitor. And I got one question for you, Kill. Who's the champ, Kill? Who's the champ?
A little guy that drowned. Or
That's
did he?
right. Here he is. There he is. There he is. So we've got Elm Street versus Halloween versus Friday for the final chapter. Kill, let's get to Kill's commentary before we jump into this. Any particular thoughts on how this is going to go down?
Man, this is gonna be a slobber knocker. This is
I was thinking that
dream bout time. I'm talking about going against Mr. Dream and Mike Tyson's Punch Out. This is insane. This is a scary one because not only do we have Halloween, which is the original, we have Elm Street, which is the original, and then we have, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, Friday the 13th movie. This is cats and dogs living together. This is unicorns flying around. This is crazy. It's gonna be fun.
Somebody's coming. Whoa. Okay, hey, real quick. We got Coriander in the chat. What's going on?
There she is.
She can hear us now. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Technical issues. You know how this goes. Sarah, that was so true. Summer swimming lessons would have saved thousands of lives. That was such a cool clue. That was awesome. All right, guys, we're going to give the point to the film that we feel as though deserves it. And for you guys in the chat, let us know what you think. We can't get to everyone, but if you do send in the super chat, multiple things will happen. 1, you'll be really cool. 2, you'll be supporting the channel. 3, we'll make sure we get to your comment and a question. And 4, you can put that to the film of your choice to help it win. Kill, let's start this thing off as we always do. We're going to be talking about the poster. The poster. Who gets the point and why?
Oh man, this is tough. 3 posters, kind of all doing different things in the classic style.
That's right.
There's no lying here. I love that Halloween poster. The hand gripping the knife, the jack-o'-lantern, the lettering. I got to go with Halloween.
Okay. All right. Eric, how about you?
I love the Halloween poster as well, but I love the Friday the 13th poster just a little bit more. It's, we know it's not the final chapter now, but back then, this poster symbolizes what would have been the death of Jason, because he was technically killed until Tommy Jarvis fucked up two movies later. I just love the black. I've always said on the show, black backgrounds with red and white lettering just pop for me, and this is perfect. The red blood, and then the symbolism of the dagger through the eye hole of the mask. I love it. I'm going Friday.
Okay. For me, and Coriander, if you're in the chat, you can give us your answer as well, so we can keep track of that. For me, this is tough because all 3 of these are great, and Coriander's going with Friday the 13th, so I've got you down. These are all great, man. Look, and 2 of these I own, so there's a reason for that. I'm actually gonna go, and I love all 3 of this, but I gotta go with Elm Street on this one. I just think that's such a cool poster. I've always loved it since I was a little kid. I remember first seeing it in the video store, and it just catches my attention. It's just so cool. So I'm actually gonna go with Elm Street on this one. Okay, first round is out of the gate. Let's see what else we got. And we also got some channel member anniversaries. We got Jerry at 21 months, almost 2 years. Love being here. Thank you so much, brother. Much love. We got RJ with 2 months, just starting his journey, saying Nightmare on Elm Street for the poster. All right. Very cool. And Sarah is jumping in. We've got her coming in with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Sarah. And the queen has said, sometimes less is more. Points for Halloween. All right. So we've got 5 points from Sarah that is already heading to Halloween. Okay. We're going to keep track. Again, if you send in a super chat, you can put those points to the film of your choice. Next up, Kill. Let's go to our next category, which is the tagline. The tagline. And with this, look, man, you know how this thing goes. It can always get kind of crazy. Halloween is the night he came home. And of course, with Elm Street, if Nancy doesn't wake up screaming, she won't wake up at all. And for Friday the 13th, 3 times before you felt the terror, known the madness, lived the horror, but this is the one you've been screaming for. Who gets the point and why?
I see Eric shaking his head because he's probably thinking what I'm thinking. Some of these too wordy. Like, I don't know.
Come on, guys.
Okay, Kill. So is it going to be Nightmare or is it going to be Halloween for you?
Yeah, exactly. Feel the magic, feel the roar. Thundercats are loose. You know, it's like, what are we doing here, guys? You know what? Eric read my mind. It is between Nightmare and Halloween for me. I'm gonna go with Nightmare because it's something. I like Nightmare and Halloween, but the night he came home. Well, who's he? Jack O'Lantern, Jack Skeleton? Who are we talking about? I don't know. But
wow.
If Nancy, which I'm assuming, if I had never seen this movie, I'm assuming that's Nancy on it. If she doesn't wake up screaming, she's not gonna wake up at all. The title of the movie is a nightmare. That correlates for me. I love it. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay, all right. Eric, how about you, man?
Kill said it best, going Nightmare, because it actually fits with the title of the movie. Even if you don't see the poster, A Nightmare on Elm Street, if she doesn't wake up, she screaming, she doesn't wake up at all. So there's something to deal with the nightmares. The night he came home, Michael Myers could be scary. He could be a trick-or-treater. We don't know. So we're going with Nightmare on Elm Street.
He could be a pumpkin.
Yeah, that's true. He could be a pumpkin. All right. With these taglines, they're interesting because, like you said, they kind of go from very, very simple to very, very, very wordy, which I don't necessarily have a big issue with if it's good. But I think with this one, I think I will go with Halloween, the night he came home, because it just, look, man, the tagline to me, having the unison with the artwork, is just kind of like, you see the knife there. I just think it works really well together. It's very simple, and it just hits that curiosity, man. So I'm actually going to go with Halloween on this one. Okay, now Coriander in the chat saying, I need to hear them all again. Okay, all right. So with Halloween, it's the night he came home. With Nightmare on Elm Street, it's if Nancy doesn't wake up screaming, she won't wake up at all. And then with Friday the 13th, 3 times before you felt the terror, known the madness, lived the horror. But this is the one you've been screaming for. Okay, so let us know what you think, Coriander. And we also got Val, who says that she's going to go. She said, let me just pull it up here. This one is a hard pick, but I have to go with H78 with Sarah on the less is more. All right. Chuck's going with Friday 4 for the poster. RJ is going with Halloween for the tagline. And hey, Derek's in the house. What's going on? Hope that you're enjoying the conversation. Pierre, what's going on? Good to see you. We got Danielle in the house too, saying, is Eric going for the Southern Santa vibe? There you go. All right. And Coriander's going with Halloween. Okay, so we've got Coriander down for Halloween as well. Okay, next up, Kill. We're going to be talking about the opening of the movie, which is usually the first couple of minutes. Sometimes it can be up to 15 minutes or so. Kill, which of these films has the best opening?
Honestly, they all have a great opening. You have one that kind of does the recap, and I'm cool with that. You have one that kind of sets up our villain, as a little child and so forth, and then that reveal, and then you have the opening Nightmare and Nightmare. I'm gonna give it to Halloween because when you first see that and you don't really see what's going on until like afterwards, and you're like, oh my goodness, it's a little kid and this and that. It holds the mystery there, and then it just drags you in. It's just like, wow, I want to see why this cute little kid did that. What's going on with that? And then of course that score is going, and it's just magnifique. So Halloween.
All right, you're going with Halloween. Okay, Eric, how about you, man? What are you thinking?
Oh, 100% Nightmare on Elm Street. I I like the stinger, finding out that Michael was a kid. Other than that, it's just a little bit of build up, a possible peeping Tom watching kids go upstairs and stuff like that. But it's done well. I love Friday the 13th. You know that I love Joe Zito, anything he makes, and we got the helicopter shot, we got the crime scene. You open up with the crime scene. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But that whole nightmare sequence with Tina in the very beginning, that's really what we're really going to get into. The tension, the boiler room, just him messing with her. And then that very, very beginning where we see him making the claws. You know what I mean? It's just a guy going through his toolbox, putting something together, and then we see the reveal. Gotta go Elm Street, dude.
Okay. All right. Coriander is saying she's going with Friday the 13th's opening. So we've got you down for that, sweetheart. For me, this is tough, man, because I think all three are great. And they're doing different things to a certain degree. But man, look, all seriousness, that opening to Elm Street is really great, Eric. I gotta admit. But I'm gonna go with Halloween on this one. And let me tell you why. Because listen, here's the thing. It's such a great open. They're all great, right? But I'm just speaking about Halloween. It's just so well done with that one shot, that POV, which helped to revolutionize things as well. And you just have no clue what's going on, and then you just see the knife, Michael, and just stabbing, and you're like, dang, this is rough stuff. You have no idea that it's a kid when that mask comes off. And shout out to the little boy, because he has freaked out probably millions of people. We have no idea who he is, but I'm just saying, it's just an awesome opening. So I'm gonna barely go with that, but I agree, Elm Street is really good as well.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on in Elm Street either. You got some possible hobo making a glove. You got lambs running around. You got
it's true
blades going through cloth.
But this hobo, he's wearing a hat. It looks like he's going to wear the things he should be wearing, including his glove. It's not like a third of a glove. He's actually wearing it. You know where I'm going with that. And I'm just messing with you. Shout out to we'll hopefully be diving into that in a few more days, right? So anyways, next up, the music. Let's talk about the music. Kill, who gets the point for the music in the film, the soundtrack?
All right, well, easy street we go. Halloween. Always Halloween for me. Always Carpenter. Like it's not fair. It's the ultimate cheat code, but when you hear, I mean, it really is for me at least, because when you hear that opening score, it's the theme to the actual holiday. Okay, it really is, and we all know it is. So easy street for me, Halloween.
Okay, Eric, how about you, man?
He said cheat code. Well, up, down, left, right, BA start. It's Halloween. Friday the 13th and Elm Street, they have amazing scores. Halloween has an iconic score. There's a big difference. And I said it every time. I don't think I've ever picked a film over Halloween when it came to music, because even people that have never seen the movie know that that's from Halloween. I said it once before. I was watching it. My daughter has never seen a Halloween film. She knows it's the Michael Myers music.
There you go.
Halloween.
There you go. All right. We will get Coriander's choice once she puts it in the chat. And hey to everyone else jumping in. We got Barb in the house, and we got Mary and Paula. Good to have you guys here. Atrol's in the house. What's up? Good to see you. For me, I mean, this almost isn't fair, to be quite honest, because I just think that the Halloween theme, and don't get me wrong, Elm Street has a great theme as well. I think Elm Street is in the parking lot. It's really creepy. It's very well done. But that Halloween score, it has the basic score, but it also has those different, like when Michael is chasing Laurie down the stairs and across the street, dun 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 dun. It just, dude, it's iconic stuff, man. It's just crazy. So I'm definitely gonna go with Halloween on this one. Okay, all right. So if Coriander and Eric, if you're able to check out in the chat, because sometimes it's tough with StreamYard to scroll. I just want to make sure I get Coriander's choice as well. And
I don't see it yet.
Okay, well, we'll see if it pops up. Oh, there she goes. Thank you. The music is hard to pick. Love all the music in these three, but Friday. So she's gonna go with Friday
Yep.
13th
Friday
is
her
my
choice.
choice. Okay. All right. Okay, let's go to our next category, guys, and it is the story. Kill, when we talk about the story of these three films, who gets the point and why?
Oh, well, and this is a cheat here because you have two of them that are just straight up kind of serial killers. Then you have one that's a nightmare serial killer.
Mm,
Just that alone makes it way more inventive, and I have to give the edge to Nightmare on Elm Street. You can't go to sleep. He kills you in the sleep.
All right. Eric, how about you, man?
Yeah, Kill said it best. I'm going Nightmare, and it's not just that. The more creativity you can have with the dream, the backstory of why he became this dream demon or whatever. At least for this first entry, there's just so much more to it. The dirty secret that the parents had and stuff like that. He's getting
Yeah.
revenge through their kids. There's just more layers to it, I think, than Halloween and Friday the 13th. So going Elm
Well
Street.
said. Okay. Kay's going with Elm Street. Super Tenor is going with Elm Street. Sarah's going with Elm Street. Paula is going with 78. All right. Coriander says officially Coriander's going with Elm Street, saying I have to give it to Elm Street. Well, you know what? I'm going to have to give it to Elm Street as well. You guys said it best. It's just so creative, guys. It's just so creative. And I think, and I remember the first time I saw this movie and it's like that ultimate twist on a twist because it's like, bro, this is when you were asleep. Everyone has to sleep. And just what Freddy was in this film, the way Robert portrayed him and so forth. It was just amazing story. So, all right, let's see what we've got for our next category. It is mythology. Mythology. And of course, when we've done our great debates series, which by the way, we will be getting back to that next week to finish off Scream. But mythology, speaking about the storyline of the character, the background of it, and so forth. Kill, when we talk about mythology, which of these three films do you think has the best mythology?
Well, it's interesting, and the way I'm kind of pulling from this is in Friday the 13th, you have kind of the recap where they're all telling legends and it's a death curse. Then in Nightmare, you have like the parents reminiscing on, oh, remember when we had to kill that guy. But then in Halloween, you got no better mythology or teller of it than Loomis. The other two do not have Loomis to pass on, Blackett's eyes, there was no life in
He
them,
was
no
gone.
soul.
He's gone from here.
Yeah, so I guess the way I'm looking at it is in the story, how much history is there and who's passing the mythology on to the kids and our protagonists. So with that being said, just on the Loomis factor, I got to go Halloween.
Okay, you're going Halloween, and Coriander jumped in quick and said Friday's mythology. So she is going with Friday, keeping New Jersey afloat. The champ is on the ropes, guys. So if anyone, wants to help him out, this is the time. Eric, how about you? Who are we going with for mythology?
I think I'm still going to stick with Elm Street. I do like the mythology. We if we're talking Friday 4, we have 4 films of mythology already in front of us.
True.
I like the connection to Sandra. Her brother is now seeking out Jason. That's a cool little nod. To me, I mean, I understand what Kill's saying with Dr. Loomis, being the hype man, but to me, there's not enough mythology yet. It's just some disturbed child. We don't get much more until later on before we get to the rune stones and all that garbage. But in this film by itself, it's just a disturbed child who escapes as an adult. The mythology for Freddy, for me, again, it's a revenge story. It's a child killer who was killed by street justice, and he's still getting his revenge, and there's no escape. You know what I mean? And that just, to me, that creates more of a mythology, more of a danger with this character. So I gotta go and give it to Freddy.
Okay. for me, see, so the way I'm looking at it, so obviously for story, when I think of story, what is being shown in the movie, the background of it, story wise, I went with Elm Street. But I think for mythology, I got to go with Halloween. I'm going to tell you why, and it's almost an advantage or a disadvantage for Elm Street. But Elm Street is fantastical. That doesn't happen. Stuff in Halloween that can happen, and so my big question is, why did that boy do that? Number one, and that's kind of the easy part. The hard part is he didn't talk forever. And he's just like a zombie, so to speak. And then one day, boom, it just clicks and he's back on task and seemingly superhuman. And he's appearing, he's disappearing. I mean, I'm not talking about like Roman and Scream 3 Harry Potter shit. I'm talking about some boogeyman type of shit. Like, and that's no shade to Roman, because all the Scream 3 people are going to come after me. I love Scream 3. I love Roman. But I'm just saying, Michael is that horror ninja. And I think the mythology around him, like you said too, Kill, with Loomis giving that background and making you really, like, it's funny because as the movie starts, it's kind of like you have a certain level of fear. But as it goes on, and especially with Loomis, my fear increased, when I first saw it. And so that's that mythology behind him. So I'm going to go with Halloween. And I've said it before. I think Michael has one of the most interesting mythologies in horror. Because of that, because it's not and again, fantastical is great because that's creative. If this was about creativity or imagination, hands down, I'd go with Elm Street. But yeah, so anyways, Kenny's in the house. Yeah. Kenny's in the house. James is in the house. Good to see you guys. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps to support us. Okay, next up, the kills in the movie. The kills, bro. Let's have you start it off. Who gets the point for the kills in the film?
I mean, once again, this is kind of a cheat code because one is supernatural. I got to go with Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, dragging Johnny Depp into a waterbed, killing girls on ceilings and on the sides of walls, man. I mean, how do you beat that? You can't. So Nightmare.
All right, Eric, how about you, man?
You know what? I'm going final chapter. Excuse me. As great as Tina being drugged, the kills are pretty simple in Halloween. Okay, there's no contest for me. We're getting rid of Mike. We're getting rid of Michael. Excuse me. Tina's death is fantastic, going around the ceiling. Johnny Depp turning into the pool of blood is great. But other than that, Rod with the blanket.
Yeah.
Marge turning into a skeleton and waving goodbye. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you always gotta go there.
Yeah. In Friday the 13th, we get Axel gets a hacksaw to the throat and his head is spun around 360 degrees.
Yep.
We get a harpoon in the crotch. We get a corkscrew in the hand and a meat cleaver to the head. We get so much stuff. And
pressed
then
against the shower, crushed.
And then we also have Jason's death as well.
Yeah.
Machete to the face and he slides down the blade. Gotta go Friday the 13th.
All right. Okay. Now Coriander is saying Nightmare for the kills. Tina. All right. We got you down officially. And for me, this is kind of tough because just like Coriander said, I think Tina's death is fantastic. And like you guys said, Johnny Depp's death is fantastic. But I'm giving this to New Jersey because, like you said, Eric, we got a Thanksgiving meal of kills in 1,000 different ways. He'll throw you out of a window. He'll just stab you in the chest while he's holding you up against a wall, reciting the allegiance. I mean, it's like he's doing everything. So I just feel as though because of that and the variety of it. Now, if this was almost, well, I don't want to say any other Elm Street, but I think as the Elm Street movies went on, you had much more variety, and it's like you almost can't deny. But for this, I'm definitely going to go with Friday on this one. Okay.
Well, it's also like the first movies versus the fourth movie.
True. It's true. No, that's a good point. Absolutely. Good point.
You know.
No doubt. No doubt at all. All right. Next up, the effects. The effects, Kill. What do you think? Who gets the point for the effects?
This is tough. For me, it's going to be between Nightmare and New Jersey. I'm going to go New Jersey, just for the effects on the kills, like, sliding down the machete and so forth, things like that. But very, very close though. But yeah, I'm going Friday.
Okay, you're gonna go with Friday. Okay, all right, Eric. How about you, man?
Oh, it's easily Friday. Elm Street has some good ones, but then there's some effects that are not so good. I always bring up the blow up doll, and when Freddy gains 25 pounds when he's set on fire. It is what it is. I understand that, but Friday the 13th had the master Tom Savini. It's really hard to defeat that man when it comes to special effects, especially in the heyday of the 80s.
All right,
Friday, no contest.
All righty. And let's see, we got some other people jumping in. Welcome to the chat. We appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please hit that. The like button as well. And if you haven't subscribed to Eric's channel, make sure you do that. We've got the link in the chat, in the description, and tons of streams and content across this channel because he rocks. All right. And Barb is going with Friday 13th. Coriander is coming in officially with Friday, saying Friday, baby. All right. For me, I have to agree with you guys. We're going 4 for 4. This has to go to Friday 13th. Tom Savini, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just came in and he was like, hold my beer, and he did a fantastic job. So many great moments. And to just think about the magic of practical effects throughout the 80s, but especially with movies like this, it just makes you smile. It makes me smile. All right.
He's still helping like this new generation. Like, he's got a working agreement with WWE. He made Bray Wyatt's mask when he was the Fiend.
Yeah,
and he's still making a lot of the stuff for like the Wyatt Six group and stuff like that. So yeah, he's still going strong.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's very, very cool. We got some other folks in the chat. Est, what's up? Been a while, y'all. Good to see you. Let's see. Lycan in the chat saying Nightmare has the most creative FX. Yes, very, very cool. We got Oliver in the house saying Saw. Saw's not in it tonight, but it does have some great, great moments of effects. It really does. And Sarah, thank you for putting Eric's link in the chat. We appreciate that. Okay,
Thanks,
absolutely. And next up, Kill. Let's go to our next category, the acting. The acting. Who gets the point and why?
I am going to go with Halloween. And my reasoning for that is Loomis. You have a lot of great up and coming actors and new actors or young actors. But the one thing they don't have is what Halloween has. Donald Pleasance. He already was an established name. Jamie Lee Curtis, young and up and comer. Johnny Depp in Nightmare, young and up and comer. Heather Langenkamp, the list so forth goes on. But just the sheer emotion that Loomis brings to it, the other movies don't really have that extra protagonist to go against the antagonist. That kind of Professor Xavier kind of character that's like, hey, let me tell you about this guy so you know what's going on. And, it just kind of helping everyone, the whole town, helping the sheriff, helping Jamie Lee, etc. He's just a great, great actor. And it shows because he carried on, in the franchise. So I got to go with Halloween.
Hey, can you imagine? You said Professor X. I just had this moment of thought. It was like Loomis as Professor Xavier. Can you imagine talking to Magneto? You don't have a brotherhood.
He had claws made of adamantium. I shot him 4 times.
The bullet holes just closed. I swear.
All right. That was good, man. Now, Eric, before I get to you, Coriander's jumping in. She's saying for acting, she's going with Halloween. So we've got her down officially. All right. Good call. Good call. Eric, how about you, man? Who are you going to go with for the acting?
as much as I like to trash Mr. Audrey Myers at times, I gotta go with Halloween. And it's not just for Donald Pleasance. Like, there's really good acting in Elm Street. There's really good acting in the final chapter. There's more good acting in Halloween, and not just for Pleasance. Jamie Lee Curtis is pretty good. PJ Souls is great. She's a fun, bubbly character. I can't remember the actress who plays Annie. Nancy Loomis, I think her name is.
Nancy Loomis. Yep.
I think she's really good. I actually prefer the two friends over Jamie Lee when it comes to performances. Everybody in that movie serves a purpose with their acting. There's no eye rolling other than maybe Bob. You know what I mean? Everyone serves a purpose.
Good point.
And I think they all nailed it. So Halloween.
All right. For me, I'm echoing what you guys said. I mean, I think that look, you said it really well too, Eric. Obviously we got Donald Pleasance, and to be quite honest, yeah, I mean, he hits this one out of the park. But I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was good in her role. I really believed her character. She had a natural charisma, as she obviously has shown throughout her whole career. I think her friends, like you said, PJ and Nancy, they were great. Even side characters like Brackett, they make a memorable moment and so forth. That's not to say that
Tommy and Lindsay too. I'm picky on my kid actors, and Tommy and Lindsay were really good. So
very good point. Even the kids were able to represent. Now, of course, with Friday, I think that Corey Feldman was fantastic. I think Trish was fantastic. Obviously Crispin is Crispin, but in Elm Street, I think
John
everybody.
Saxon.
You got the sax, boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The sax. Look.
Don't sleep on the sax.
Don't sleep on the sax. We're talking about, he was an Enter the Dragon. Don't mess with him. But rest in peace to John Saxon, by the way. He was fantastic. Maybe if his character was more in the film, it definitely could get it a little bit closer. Because I thought Elm Street had some great acting in its own way. But yeah, this has to go to Halloween. Donald Pleasance was just too much. I mean, just the monologues alone were just like, what? This guy, he's on a different level. He knows the score.
Well, shout out to Ronnie Blakely though. I love that scene where she's telling the backstory, and he can't hurt you, baby, because mommy killed him. That whole monologue was really well done.
Very much so. There's a very, and again, it was really smart of them, just like other horror films have done, but very smart of them to get like Ronnie Blakely and the sax in there to kind of give it a little bit of that gravitas, So Corey Andrews is saying totally. That's right. That's right. All right. Good one, babe. Next category. And we already went through the mythology. Let me just skip down back to where we're at. The tension. Kill. When we talk about tension in a horror film, we could go in a lot of different directions, but who gets the point in this one?
This is tough. They all have tension. They all have their moments. Definitely Friday has its moments and so forth. But I just gotta say, for me, just that beginning of the fourth quarter of Halloween, where he is closing in on Jamie Lee hardcore. Jamie Lee is in. It doesn't get much more tense than you hiding in a closet, and the killer is right there, reaching in like he's trying to get the claw machine. He's just trying to grab some hair. He's trying to get her. It's like, oh my goodness! And then she's so winded, out of breath, breathing on the stairs, and he just gets up, and it's just like, oh my god, turn around, Jamie Lee. For me, I gotta go Halloween on this one. No disrespect to the other two, but god damn it, like that ending part is just tense city for me. So.
Okay. All right. Real quick before I get to you, Eric, a shout out, Sarah and Val. Thank you guys so much for putting the link in. Definitely, if you haven't, check out our Patreon. We have a really cool community we're building there, and the platform allows us to do things that we can't do on YouTube, especially when we do hangouts. We can play music, we can play clips without getting dinged. We can also play movies we do for watch parties on the screen for you guys, which we've done several times. So if you haven't already, check out the Patreon. We have a chat community feature as well that is free. So all right, Eric, what are you thinking for tension?
I'll piggyback a little bit on Kill's analogy. It's fourth quarter, but I think Jason intercepted the ball. I'm gonna go with Friday, and the reason why is like he said that we're not talking about the finale yet, but that's a major part of it. You throw in the music, the way the killer is. You're rooting for your heroes, your protagonists. I think the tension is built up more with Jason. He's busting through windows. He's kicking through doors. He's not a zombie yet, so he's not walking slow like Michael. You know what I mean? I think that adds to the tension. And no disrespect to Jamie Lee's performance, I think Trish and Tommy, those two actresses, their performances, since there's two, it kind of outweighs one person a little bit more. So he's after two people because eventually Tommy and Lindsay get away. You know what I mean? So he's after two people, and I think that just builds the tension more for me. So I'm going to go with Friday because you don't know what this guy will do. If he can bust through a door, you're just kicking it open, and then he looks at you. You know what I mean? And then she throws the hammer, and he just shrugs it off like it's nothing, and then he comes for her. That's a better use of tension for me.
Yeah, for me, it's tough because I will say, and there's moments in Elm Street as well, when Freddy is chasing after Nancy, when she's having the nightmares, of course, there's great tension when she's going down the hallway and you're not sure, what's real and what's not a little bit. But I will say, to me, this is between Friday and Halloween. And this is how I determine it. Friday's, third act has a lot of great moments. When Jason chases Trish up the steps, shout out to the late, great Ted White, the oldest actor to portray Jason. And you would never know it. You'd never know it because he was so physical and just, he was moving quick. And Trish had to make a choice, and she made that choice. That was a great scene. But I'm going to give this point to Halloween. And the reason is because I felt tension even in moments where there wasn't a chase, like even in the beginning of the film, when he jumps on the car, when Laurie sees him outside of the window, and then the camera goes back to Laurie, and then the camera goes back to the outside and he's not there. And it's kind of like, okay, is he that good of a ninja or is she seeing things? You know what I'm saying? Like little things like that. Even before the third act, Loomis, when they go into the Myers home, it's like, dude, homeboy's probably chilling out eating dog in the corner. You better watch out. And so I was on edge quite a bit in a lot of moments throughout Halloween. Of course, that was a big point that Carpenter and Deborah Hill wanted to bring. So my point goes to Halloween. Coriander in the chat is coming in officially saying Halloween brings attention just a wee bit more. Okay, we've got you down for Halloween. Okay, guys, let's get ready to go to our next one. A shout out to Hollywood Guy in the house. What's going on? Michael can be scary at times. Yes, indeed. James is in the house. What's up, James? Good to see all of you guys. People just jumping in right and left. Barb saying Michael Myers scares the hell out of me. So yeah, he gets that point from me. Well, there you go. All right. Next category, kill. The best kill out of all three films, that one kill that gets the point. What is it and why?
This is tough, but I got to go with the first thing that just comes to my head, and just for the technical aspect of it, the imagination of it, the Tina kill it's the first thing that just popped into my head. No disrespect to the other two movies, but it was a sight to behold, and I hadn't seen anything like that, up until then. So.
All right, okay, Eric, how about you, man?
Yeah, 100% easy street. Tina's death. End of story.
All right, very, very cool. And we got Barb as we check to see what Coriander has for her choice. Barb saying movies uploaded to Patreon. That was way cool for Jason X, right? That was cool, So I'm glad it worked out good, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Seriously. And we also, and thank you so much again, Sarah, for putting in the link for the Patreon. We appreciate it. If anyone does join, let us know. We had Travis who did, I think it was like a week and a half ago, and I didn't know the notification doesn't always ring right up. But if you do so, let us know, and we can thank you here live in front of everyone. Rachel's in the house. What is up? Good to see you, Rachel. Hope you're doing well. Okay. And let's see if we've got Coriander's choice in the chat. I'm not sure. I don't see it.
She said Tina.
Okay, Tina, she went through hell filming that scene. She did. She got ill and everything. It's crazy. Well, look, guys, once again, we're all in agreement because it's, to me, and I'm not saying it's easy, but it's definitely got to be the Tina kill. And, you know, the kill itself started before the kill in a way, you know what I'm saying? Just building up. This was a moment that was a lot of great tension and build up to what Freddy is and what he can do. And it was just like, holy crap, he's doing that right in front of Rod. And there's nothing that Rod could do to save Tina, which was kind of sad because Tina was, you know, a really cool character. And you thought she was the final girl. So, all right. Real quick, too, in the chat, Rachel also has a channel member anniversary. All right.
Nice.
19 months. And she says, woo. All right.
Good for you.
Thanks so much, Rachel. We appreciate you. And Val's got the link for Eric's channel. Make sure that you guys go and check out Eric and subscribe and support him.
Thank you,
right. Yeah, man. Let's see. Who else is in the chat? Yeah. And James saying he would, yes, Ted White, 58. Isn't that crazy?
It's that generation, man, and he was a stunt man for like westerns and stuff. He was one tough dude.
Yeah, absolutely. I always remembered him in a scene from one of the early opening scenes in Romancing the Stone. He was playing that old bad guy in the western that was basically the story that Kathleen Turner's character was telling or whatever. But yeah, Ted White, he was old school, man. He was old school. All right, let's go to our next category, the worst kill. Killian, what do you think? What is the worst kill out of these three movies and why?
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that question.
You never know.
Eric, maybe you should go because I got to think about this for a second.
Okay, it's between two kills.
Okay.
Okay. I know how I'm going to do it. I'm going with Nightmare on Elm Street. And the reason why is when you're in the dream world and you have all this creativity, it's a movie where someone's being drug up a room and sliced apart. The guy's getting pulled through a bed, and it's a geyser. It's Rod's death. I know you can't really do anything in a jail cell, but it's literally being strangled by a bed sheet.
Hey, can I say something? Hold on. First of all, and I usually don't do this. I try not to jump in on you guys. First of all, this is a negative point category, obviously.
I figured, yeah.
Bro, that's exactly the death I'm picking too, is Rod's death in the original Elm Street. And no shade, you know, to anything. But it is what it is, bro. It's like look.
That's actually the one that was in my head, but I was just like, is there one that's worse than that?
It was for me. It was between that one and then when one of the Doublemint twins is impaled against the wall in final chapter. The reason why Rod gets it is because you have the creativity allowed in a dream death, and it's just like wow.
Right. And you know, and another thing too, and you know, obviously it is what it is. I mean, they only had $75 to make this movie. Okay. So it is what it's 1984. So it's no shade. I love Wes, but even the way that it's shot, you know, when you see Freddy walk through pulling the Terminator 2 Robert Patrick maneuver, I'm like, okay, we're about to get down and get dirty. And next thing you know, you got the sheet with the metal wire that you can see right at the end going around. It's like, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Whoa,
it's Final Destination.
Come on, man.
You don't have a problem in those movies.
This is Freddy Krueger. No. I'm just no shade. No,
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, Rod's death. So, Kill, are you going with Rod's death too?
I am actually, because that's the only one that kind of jumped in my head, and I was just like, is there one that's kind of worse than that? But you know,
like I don't even really like Marge's death. You know, in the bed.
Yeah.
But at least there's some creativity.
Yes.
You know, there was effort, in my opinion. Instead of just a bed sheet hanging a guy.
Hell yeah. So. You know, you know what's a worse death than this though, Kill? Nothing, because Coriander said it's Rod's kill as well.
Atta girl.
There you go.
Dude, how did we all now this is a category. We don't have this category very often at all. We will picked Rod's kill out of 3 films.
No
That's
lying.
crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Lying.
There's never been any lying. Wow. And Rachel said, laugh out loud, poor Rod. I know. I know. It is what it is, though.
Yeah.
You got to take the good, you got to take the bad. All right. So let's see what our next category is going to be. The scarier threat. Kill, the scarier threat. We put ourselves in the situation. Well, now I'm saying we put ourselves in the situation as the characters, you know, dealt with it. So what's the scarier threat to you?
Okay. Don't go to camp. Leave Haddonfield. You can try not to sleep. You could take pills. It'll last for a while. Your body will shut down and you'll go insane. So the scarier threat.
Or you could just turn your back on it. No, I'm just messing. I'm messing.
Yeah,
okay. Hey, well, I'm just saying, man. You ain't gonna turn your back on Michael or Jason. No, I'm just messing with you.
Busta Rhymes did.
This is true. This is true.
Don't give me that shit.
Wait a minute, man. All right, you know what we gotta do. You know what we gotta do. Here we go.
Let the dangertainment begin out.
There it is. He's always ready.
Scarier threat is Freddy for
All
the
right.
obvious reasons.
Okay, Eric, how about you, man?
Just like Halloween never loses the music category for me and Kill, Freddy never loses the scarier threat for me and Kill. You have to sleep sometime.
All right.
Freddy.
Okay. For me, I gotta go with Freddy as well, obviously. I just think that was a part of this movie. Like I said, for story, when I gave it the point for story, that was the part of this movie that just went that extra mile. And it's like, okay, wow, this is absolutely crazy. You know, being caught up in a dream, and that's his world. So I'm going with Freddy as well. And so is Coriander. So for the last 3 categories, Elm Street has won 4 points. It has lost 4 points. And now it has won 4 points. This is crazy. Oh, man. All right.
Bed sheets and all.
Bed sheets and all. For you guys keeping score at home, if you have a favorite and if you want to put points to it, if you send in a super chat, you can put points to the film of your choice. And it also helps to support the channel. And we appreciate it. Barb is saying Freddy is the biggest threat there. Can't stay awake forever. So true. So true. Kelly saying my childhood screams Freddy is the bigger threat. Yep, there you go.
This is the way.
This is the way. James saying Nightmare on Elm Street. How long can you stay awake? Your body is gonna shut down. There you go. Rachel said no. She's hanging out in October, saying Michael is the scariest to me. Do not want to come across that dude in a dark alley or even a well-lit alley. It's a good point. Very good point. And Val, thank you for putting the link in for the Patreon. We appreciate that. All right. And Barb saying to Rachel, and he always seems to take his time walking with that swagger and still catches up to the people. That's right. The fastest slow walker of all time. It's a sport. Check it out. All right. Next cat. Well, I'm just saying, when he is the one. I've seen Jason run. You know, the only time Michael, well, we know the only time we don't talk about that movie. All right.
It is a sport. It was in the Olympics.
Breakdancing was in the Olympics too.
Hey.
Wow. All right. Our next category.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
Speaking of the fastest slow walker and these ladies in the chat talking about killer swag. All right. So when we're talking about these 3 icons of horror, which one of them has that swag kill? And what I mean by that is just all the elements, you know, whether it's their look, weapon of choice, how they employ it, how they move, all of these different things, how they attack or kill their victims. It's all combined in this one. Who gets the point and why?
This is tough. This is really tough.
It is.
Because I could do points for all of them. You know, the hockey mask is iconic. The claws are iconic. William Shatner is iconic.
He always will be.
Yeah. I think for me, if I was to add something to it, also, it barely would go to Halloween because he's a freaking ninja. He's the shape. He's just walking through Haddonfield, just like, hey, it's my night. I can walk around like this, and I'm hiding behind a bush. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. It's just something really creepy about it. Whereas, Nightmare, this is the first movie. If this was other Nightmare movies, it might be different.
Right. Right.
And then, of course, Friday, Jason, he's iconic and the swag is just dripping from him. But I gotta go Halloween. Michael Myers, man, the mask, the knife, the ninja. American Ninja Warrior, Halloween.
He was the original American Ninja Warrior. Midwest American Ninja Warrior. All right.
Edition.
Haddonfield's finest. We're not talking about the cops in Halloween 5. No, we're not. All right. Eric, how about you, man?
Oh, easily for me, this is Freddy. This is Freddy's category. And it's just, I'm not saying Michael and I'm not saying Jason don't have personality, but Freddy has a ton more in this one. And I'm still talking about the original. We're not talking Looney Tunes and, Roach Motels and stuff like that. The way he plays with his food, chasing Tina down that hallway, cutting off his fingers. Hey, look what I can do. That type of stuff.
Right.
She pulls off his face and there's a skeleton underneath. The invisible body bag, all this stuff. Just the way, as much as we shit on Rod's death, just the way he looked at Nancy and smirked, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's some swag to him doing that.
He did.
And we've also talked about how Robert, he basically said, he's a gunslinger. His glove is his gun. He tilts himself. Gunslinger's got swag right there. We're going with Freddy.
Bro, you're making me a believer. I'm like, wow,
That's why I'm here, man. That's why I'm here.
Eric's talking this thing up, man. I'm feeling the flavor and the gravy here, man. And we'll see what Coriander says in the chat. But let me catch up to the chat before I give my answer as well. And hey, Hollywood guy saying Jason has the swag. All right, very cool. Coriander says Jason has that swag. Okay, so she's going with New Jersey. We got her down officially. For me, man, this is tough. All three of these characters have some really cool moments. And I also think that all three directors of these films showcased these icons in a very cool way, even if it is in shadow and stuff like that. But they all look great, and this is definitely blueprints for horror films, especially slasher horror films. But look, man, we gotta go to Haddonfield with this. Michael Myers, like, the simplicity of it all, and I suppose you could live or die by that, right? Pun intended. You could enjoy that, and you could also say, well, come on, man, you can move around, dance, do something. But to me, it's just badass shit. When you're hiding in a closet in the dark and Laurie is just freaking out, you're just standing there just like doopy 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 doop doop, and you just kind of just move forward a little bit, and that light hits the mask, and then you're just like, hey, it's time to do what we do. I mean, moments like that, after Loomis shot him 80,000 times, comes around the corner, and Michael's just standing there like, what? It's just, look, he's got it, man. I'm going with Michael on this one. No shade to Freddy or Jason. Okay, now real quick, we got a man, Ben, coming in with a $10 super chat. What's up, man? Good to see you. Saying, what's up? This is a titanic clash of slasher titans. Wanted to make sure I throw some monetary support at. Well, thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. Seriously. Tonight's double feature, Nightmare 4 and Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2. All right. Very cool. That's good. That's a good choice. That's a good double feature. I like that one. Well, look, let's do a quick super chat clip for Ben, and definitely want to thank you so much for helping to support the channel. Also, Ben, let us know if you want that 10 points to go to one of these movies, because you can do that, because that's how it is on Battle World. And let's do a clip. And Kill, sometimes you just wonder what life could be like if it were just a little bit different. But you got to be careful, because you might get what you wish for, and it could look like this. There it is. You never know. You never know.
Poor Black Phillip. What happened to Black Phillip? Oh man.
Wow.
Jeez.
The new age champion ain't playing around. Black Phillip's like, I'm taking over.
I think he celebrated his last victory a little too hard.
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
Let's
Good
ride a human.
God.
Black Phillip's backup dancers.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I've been waiting to play some of these clips, man. All right.
Yeah.
Next category. The look on Kill's face. He put his hand to his mouth. He just couldn't believe what the world was coming to. All right. I love doing that. Next category. Jason, Michael, or Freddy. In these three movies, who you putting your point to, Kill?
I'm going Jason. Because he transcends. You know, he dies in this, you know, but is he dead? You know, and he did what he wanted to do. Don't come to my camp. You know, I'm gonna kill everybody else. You know, I almost got you and your brother. You know, but no disrespect to the other two. But yeah, I gotta go Jason.
Okay. All right. Eric, how about you?
Yeah, I'm Jason's usually always my guy when we talk about the Holy Trinity, and he still is here. This is one of his best. You know, Ted White's also my favorite Jason, so this is one of the best performances of Jason, in my opinion, and one of his most vicious, you know, entries when it comes to weapons and just even if he makes throwing somebody out of a second-story window look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
In
that's
slow motion
true.
and stuff like that. So there's just a little bit more to Jason than Michael or Freddy in these ones for me.
All right. Okay. In the chat, Coriander says, my boy, Mr. Jason Voorhees. All right. We've got you down officially. This is tough, bro. I mean, because like all three of them had great outings in these films. All three of these films are iconic. They're classics, in my opinion. Great examples of what horror is. But I'm going to barely give this one to Jason, and I'm going to tell you why. And it's no shade to Jason or to Michael or Freddy, but Jason was so prominent in this film. I mean, he was just he's in morgues, he's at camps, he's in houses, he's all over the place. He's just doing what he has to do. And I just think that, you know, at this point, again, we talked about it earlier, whether it's an advantage or a disadvantage, you know, at this point in the franchise, the fourth film, I think they perfected the formula. Like Jason is doing work in Jersey. Okay. He's on a mission in Jersey. And I think it shows throughout this film. And, you know, when I think of the prototype of a slasher film, Friday 4 is always one of those films that comes up to the top for me, you know, when I'm thinking of the best of the best. It just has everything you want. And Jason is so prominent in this film. You got to give it credit. So I'm going with Jason. Okay. Now, real quick, too, in the chat to catch up with these guys, Scott is in the house. What's up, Scott? Good to see you. Going with Michael Goat. Barb saying, I'll always love them all, but Michael is my favorite of the bunch. There you go. There you go. We got Kay in the chat. What's up? Going with Freddy. All right. Ben's going with Jason. Very cool. Everybody's all over the place. We knew this would happen. Super Tenor is going with Michael. Scott saying final chapter is definitely my favorite Jason, though. There you go. All right. Paula is going with Michael. All right. Kill, our next category. You knew we were going to go here sooner or later, but we've got Trish, we've got Nancy, or Lori. Which final girl gets the point and why?
I love all three of these women. They all are smart. They all can think on their feet. You have one that's the best babysitter on planet Earth. I mean, going above and beyond. But then you have another one that's like the best sister on Earth. But her little brother technically is the reason she survived.
Mm.
And then, of course, Nancy, she tried to save Johnny Depp, but he fell asleep.
He did. He had one job.
So with those demographics for me, I got to go Lori. Because once again, best babysitter ever, going above and beyond. And when I say thinking on her feet, she really wasn't on her feet. She was crumbled in a closet and just grab a hanger and just, she has the quickest hands because those old takes a minute to unravel.
Right.
Her dexterity and hand strength was pretty strong. It's just like, and then, the best no look ever. I mean, the tension and just the quick thinking, best babysitter ever. Lori, gotta go Halloween.
All right. Coriander. Now this is freaking me out, guys, because Laurie Strode is one of Coriander's favorite final girls ever, but she says no, New Jersey. She's going with Trish. Who? Cats and dogs living together. This is crazy. All right, we got you down for Trish, Coriander. Eric, how about you?
Oh, I'm going Nancy. I like Trish.
Wow.
Even though she was saved by Corey Feldman, well, Lori was saved by Dr. Loomis. So I just want to throw that out there too. The reason why I like Nancy is she figured out what she had to do. She knew she had to stay awake. She had to deprive herself of sleep. They're all three of them are smart. And granted, Nancy had more time to plan, but I liked how she was able to plan bringing him into the real world. She was able to plan the booby traps or the Home Alone stuff. But what I really liked is she went after Freddy herself. You know what I mean? And she knew there was a chance she might not make it. She might not wake up. Right. And because you know what? She might have died before she was able to bring him into the real world type of thing. And that just, to me, that kind of trumps, for me, two other girls just trying to stay alive with a living, breathing serial killer, I guess you would say. She actually went after him, and these two were trying to get away. So I'm going with Nancy.
All right. Okay. Coriander was saying she kicked so much ass, talking about Trish. There you go. She did. And also Ben in the chat, Ben, let us know if I saw that you wrote Jason. So meaning that 10 points will go to Jason. I just wanted to double check on that. And Eric, if you see Ben, I don't know if he's still here, but I believe that's what he was wanting to have happen. Coriander saying Lori was hiding in a closet. Trish was going after that boy. Wow. Now, Coriander, you're a huge Laurie Strode fan. This is Kill. You know that. As many times as we've talked about it, it's like, wow, what is this bizarro world? Crazy. All right.
But once again, in Laurie's defense, this is all happening in hours.
Right.
One evening.
Yes.
This isn't like a week of Nancy's best friends dying or a long weekend at summer camp. Like, this is literally hours.
Yeah.
And Nancy's fighting Freddy with weeks of no sleep. So
yeah.
This is true.
And Coriander saying I am, but Trish, what can I say? Yeah, she's a big fan of Lori, but Trish, what can I say? Well, you know what? I have to agree with you because I also agree. I think Trish, and here's the thing. Now, granted, all three of these final girls had a lot of other stuff going on, friends and so forth. But, Trish, look, she was trying to save her little brother. And I just think that, look, you're dealing with a guy who there's no help. You might as well be on the moon if you're at Crystal Lake. Okay, you might as well be on the moon. Nobody's coming to help you. And even if they can, they're dealing with a guy that literally walked through a door. That's bad news. He's a bad guy. And
she had help, and he was killed in the basement in like 10 seconds. So
well, he's killing me.
Yeah.
But all that being said, she just goes after him, and I think that it was like almost. And the thing it reminds me of is that story about the mother that can lift up a car to save the child or whatever. It's like she just wanted to defend her brother, and I just thought it was really cool, and I just thought that she was great, and I'm gonna put her for the point. I'm gonna go with Trish on this one. It's tough, and guys know I love Laurie and I love Nancy, but I'm going with Trish. Okay. Now, real quick, I want to make sure I'm caught up on the chat. You guys are working hard. Yeah, and Barb was saying, Coriander, you're right. Laurie survived, and Trish and Nancy were proactive. Very much so. Very much so. All right. Next up, who's the best character kill in all 3 films? Only one, and who is that?
I gotta go with the first thing that comes to my mind. Best characters, Dr. Loomis.
Okay.
Even though obviously in this movie he's not in it as much as the other movies, but that just shows how well of a written character he is when he's riding along with the police, when he's kind of telling the lore, when he's explaining, when he first met him as a boy and there was nothing there.
There was nothing.
Can you
imagine that?
Obviously him shooting, Michael and doing the smart thing, checking, is he down there? Like what's going on? So once again, I always kind of go to him because the other 2 franchises really don't have that Loomis type character. John Saxton, like you said earlier, Night, he could have been that in Nightmare. Yes. He's the father to our protagonist, and he's a sheriff. That's even more incentive to be in there.
Right.
But Loomis is just that guy. So yeah, I gotta go with Halloween.
Oh my god. All right, Eric, how about you, man?
Yeah, I can't deny it. I gotta go with Dr. Loomis as well. And here's why. And a lot of it relies on the performance of Donald Pleasance, because if you tear apart that character and you put someone else in that role, a lot of that dialogue could come off really freaking cringy and eye-rolling. Like, imagine someone else saying that line, and it's just like it could have come off as some cheesy, stupid B horror movie. You actually believe Loomis in the way Pleasance says it. You guys always joke, him and Colonel Troutman are the best hype men in film. You believe everything Loomis says because he is so adamant of how evil Michael is, and how he must be stopped.
Right.
And then again, we always talk about that final shot where he looks and he's like, I knew he would have gotten away. So that adds to the mystique of him. He's like, I shot him 6 times. I knew it wouldn't work, but I had to save this girl. And then, okay, we got to continue on. So got to go with Dr. Loomis.
All right. Okay. Let me just catch up with Coriander. And Barb saying I have to run, guys, but this has been fun. Thank you so much, Barb. We appreciate you being here. Yeah, we appreciate you being here. Let's see. And Coriander is coming in, and she oh God, come on. She said Gordon. I love that dog. He jumped out of the window as well. Oh, jeez.
Hey.
Oh my God.
Character.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Are you serious? You know what? Just for that, we need to do another super chat clip, man. All right, let's do another one. And guys, look, let's go back. Well, actually, no, not that far. Kill. I don't know if you've seen this one. Let's do this one. Oh no, you have. All right, I'm gonna pick a different one. So Kill, sometimes you just never know what to expect. You got to be careful of what you got around you because it could backfire and look like this.
Attends, c'est la 2. Oui, attendez, parce que je vais... Attendez, parce qu'il y a mon aide-soignant qui est pas... Est-ce que vous pouvez m'aider? Ouais, voilà. Parce que c'est de... Je vais essayer. Non, visiblement, ça ne marche pas. Attendez.
There it is.
I've seen that one before.
I know you.
I haven't.
I thought you didn't.
If I did, I think I remember that one.
Wow. All right, listen. Let me make this quick. Best character for me is Loomis. He's like my favorite horror character. He's just amazing. When you watch that film, and even when I first saw it, there was just something about the performance what he did, what he represented, that I was just so interested in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, man, this guy, he knows what's going on. Is he going to be able to save everyone? Is he not? You know, when he shows up at the end, I remember thinking, yes, he made it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the character, like you said, Kill, he's not in the film a lot. He's sprinkled. You know what I'm saying? His presence is felt, but he's not like in it for, 2/3 of the film. But yet he makes that impression. So I'm gonna go with Loomis.
Even computer animated Loomis in the new trilogy is interesting and good. I mean, to me, I'm just like, oh, that's awesome.
Right? Oh my god. It's true. It's true. Like even in that, it was like, okay. So
you guys
awesome.
know how much I hate Halloween 5. Loomis is one of those diamonds in that mess of a movie for me.
It's so
That
true.
says a lot.
It's so true. So true. Real quick too, in the chat, we got Erica in the house saying, hey, what's up, Erica? Good to see you. We're almost through our Battle World episode, but glad you were able to come in. All right. Our next category, we're almost at the end here. And as always, we talk about the it factor. So we talk about the it factor. We're talking about, the film itself, the high points of it, the rewatchability, the entertainment value, and so forth. The it factor is basically all of those things combined. Kill, who gets the point for the it factor?
I love and have watched all of these movies numerous times, but there is one that just based off of the fact that it's a freaking holiday. I literally watch it every single year. Like I watch it every single year at the holiday, and I watch it other times during the year. I gotta go Halloween. There's no lying here. I love them all, but I would go Halloween, Friday, Nightmare, but Halloween.
Okay. All right. Eric, how about you?
If we're talking the complete picture, everything put together, and rewatchability, I'm actually going to go with Nightmare. And I love Final Chapter. All my joking about picking on Michael notwithstanding, I do really like Halloween. There's just something about Elm Street that when it's on, I won't just have it on in the background while I'm doing laundry or doing dishes. I'll sit and watch it. Because it brings me in that much. So the other ones I'll have on the background, maybe doing chores, I'll actually sit and watch A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Wow. You know what? Now I wouldn't have guessed that. So that was a really interesting answer and obviously well said. Very, very cool. All right. Real quick in the chat, Erica saying I didn't get the notification, just happened to come on YouTube and hopped right in here. Well, thank you so much for hopping right on in. And yeah, the notifications can be a pain in the butt.
YouTube is so funky with that stuff.
It is.
Erica, the easiest way to do it is just click the bell and make sure you have it selected for all.
That's true.
That way you can get even notifications for streams you might not be interested in and you won't miss it. But
yeah,
a lot of times that was my problem. Like I would have certain channels with the bell clicked, but sometimes it's under like custom or something like that. So YouTube would pick which ones to notify you on and which ones to wouldn't. So. Yeah,
it's crazy, man, doing this stuff. It's an absolute roller coaster. But thank you for being here, Erica. We appreciate it a lot. Coriander is saying Friday the 13th. I have been watching this franchise since I was a teenager. There it is. So she's going with New Jersey. For me, this is challenging because these three films, I watch and have watched numerous times, countless times. That being said, I think if I'm gonna put with it factor as far as entertainment and rewatchability, I'm gonna also edge this out to Friday the 13th, just by a smidgen, and that's because of the fact that it has a little bit more lightness to it as well with some of the characters, and so it's a film that it's almost the opposite of what you said, Eric. It's kind of like I could have Friday the 13th on in the background and I'm still absorbing it and enjoying it. And that's almost why I would give it the point for this. Whereas if it leans on, I've got to pay attention from beginning to end. And so I'm leaning into the fact as far as entertainment, having a little bit of that levity. And obviously the final chapter has quite a few moments and not just when Crispin's dancing. So I'm going to edge it out to Friday. Okay, guys, we're almost at the end. And Erica saying, I definitely have my bell set to all. Glad I made it before it was too late. Yeah, we're glad you did too. Thank you so much. Okay, the finale, guys. Kill. Who gets the point for the finale and why?
This is tough.
Right.
And if you ask me on a different day, it could switch, but I gotta go with the first thing that comes to my mind. I barely gotta go Halloween, because once again, just that whole, the ending of, being chased, going up the stairs, hiding in the closet, thinking he's dead, turning your back to him getting up slowly, Loomis coming in, shooting him, looking for the body, he's gone, Loomis is losing his shit, like, where'd he go? I mean, all three of these have great finales, but that one, it's just, for me, so much tension wrapped in there, so much, damn, you almost died, and just, I don't know, it's just damn near perfect. I got to go Halloween on that one.
All right, going Halloween with that one. Eric, how about you? What do you think about the finales?
Friday the 13th, slightly over Halloween. Elm Street, no, it's not even close with these three with Elm Street, in my opinion.
I agree.
As much as I like Nancy and the Home Alone stuff, the turning your back, the blow up doll, there's a lot of again, Marge waving bye to go to the afterlife. There's too much I do roll my eyes at, because we're talking about what's the better finale. You know what I mean? It's true.
Right.
Halloween has a great finale. I just think Friday the 13th has got a little bit more. We talked about it earlier with the tension. I think there's more tension in that finale. Jason's more scary than Michael. I think it's just because he's more forceful and stuff like that with the danger. He takes televisions to the head, and what else can you do to stop this guy? And again, it's that finale of him on top of Trish, and she's fighting him off. And even though I'm kind of iffy on Jason falling for Tommy's bullshit, with the shaved head and stuff, it's still, I think, a great finale, with the way he's taken out. And even though it's the final chapter, supposedly at that look that Corey Feldman gives to the camera is pretty spooky. You know what I mean? Seeing like, is this going to go to some other level type of thing? So I gotta go with Friday the 13th.
Okay, we've got you down for Friday the 13th. Coriander is saying Friday, the tag team ending, so sad for my boy Jason, but it was an awesome fight. That's right. Jason had a horrible death, no doubt. For me, it's tough, man, because that finale for Friday was really good, but I got to go with Halloween, man. Listen, it is what it is. Lori might as well have been on the moon, because nobody, if you were home and she's knocking on your door, you are not answering that door. And so she was alone, and Michael's just strolling. He's tiptoeing through the tulips, doop, 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 walking across the street, because he knows nobody's going to save her. And it's just a great finale. And you don't know what's going to happen when she go, like you said earlier, Kill, when she stabs him and you think it's over, she drops the knife, comes out to the hallway, and he does, well, I call it the Michael, because it is the Michael. He does the sit-up, shout out to the Undertaker. And I mean, look, it's just amazing stuff. So I'm going to give this one to Halloween. Okay. All right. Now, real quick, in the chat, Pierre said Halloween has the best ending. All right. MK in the house saying Halloween is the best. Okay. Very, very cool. And thanks, Val, for putting the link up again for Patreon. If you haven't checked it out, please do. We have an awesome platform there, and also the ability to chat with each other. Really easy to communicate and answer questions from folks. Scott saying agreed. Final chapter has the better finale. There you go. Okay. DJ's in the house. What's up, DJ? Good to see you. And our final category is the choose category. So just to throw this out here, because every once in a while we've had this happen. Shout out to Troy. If you want to put points to either film, any of these three films, now's the time to do it. If you send in a super chat, you can put the amount of that super chat as points to the film that you want to win. This is really tight. I'm just looking, kind of glancing here. It's really, really tight. So now's the time to do it. Once we finish this category, then we can't take any more because then it just wouldn't be fair. So we're going to go through this category. Last opportunity if you'd like to send in a super chat. Okay, Kill. We've got to make a choice. Who are you giving the point to?
This is tough. I'm gonna go with Halloween.
Okay.
I love all three of these. My favorite franchise up there is Friday the 13th. But when I just start thinking of the cinematography, just the music score, just the ambiance of Haddonfield, the ninja skills, it's just too much for me to put in there for me not to, at least today, not to go with Halloween. So.
All right, Eric, how about you?
I'm gonna go with Elm Street. Pretty much for all the reasons why I said in the It Factor. They're all great in their own way, but of these three, Elm Street's my favorite of the three. So I would want my vote, where I can play my cards, I'd want my vote to go for the one that I would want to win. So I'm going for Elm Street.
All right. Eric, I didn't, I never really, I'm sure I knew it, but just never really thought about it being, because you're a Friday guy as well, but I didn't know that Elm Street, out of these three, or versus Final Chapter, I should say. That's really interesting. Very, very cool.
Yeah, I'm a Jason guy. I've always loved the franchise more. I think there's less ups and downs.
Right.
I've always loved Jason more, and I don't know why, because Freddy has more personality. But of these three, I've always, or even like the original three, or however you do it, Nightmare on Elm Street, the original one, 99% of the time would probably win for me.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy that original film that much.
Yeah. All right. Very, very cool. Coriander is saying the Final Chapter for a million? What are we doing here? All right. Interesting. All right. So the Final Chapter. For me, this is tough, man. But, it all comes down to just overall, the movie, everything that's involved with it. And honestly, I love all three of these movies so much. They're some of my favorite movies ever, not just horror movies. But it could change later on, but for right now, I got to give it to Halloween on this. It's just, and it's funny because Halloween over the years has actually, I've actually loved it more and more, which is crazy because I've always loved this movie, but it's just so damn good. It really is. So I'm going to go with Halloween for my choice. All right. Now, real quick, too, in the chat, we did get a super chat come in, and it's Hollywood Guy. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate it. And he says, which actor do you guys think played the better character, Kane Hodder, George Wilbur, or Robert Englund? And I mean mannerisms and the way they act. Well, it's got to be Robert for me. I just think that he had more that he had to do once you start adding in dialogue. How about you guys? Any quick answer on that?
I'll go with Robert because, again, like you said, there's the dialogue. I love Kane. He brings the rage to Jason, but we've seen Rage Jason before. And George Wilbur, what was he?
Halloween.
4 and 6?
4 and 5. Yeah, 4 and 6.
He was fine. I mean, there's been better portrayers. He's not my favorite, but it's hard to top Robert because of, again, it's not just the physical. There's also acting, and I'm not taking away from George and Kane, but there's also acting involved, and Robert's got it.
All right, Kill. Any quick answer for you?
I agree with that. I mean, because he speaks, he acts, he's he's playing roles in the tortured ways he kills people. Costume changes. It's so much stuff that he adds to it that the other two, because they don't speak, they're not doing. So
Agreed. Okay, thanks for the super chat, Hollywood Guy. And if you wanted to put that to one of the movies, I'm not sure if you did, but let us know quickly because we're going to count the points. DJ, this came in after we were done. $2.85 super chat. That was all. That's. I'm trying to think if that number means something. Saying save Freddy. I wish we could. Oh my gosh, we got Corey Anderson coming in with a $10 super chat. What is going on, Jason?
He knows the rules.
It's after we were done. What is going on? Who does this? But thank you so much for the super chat, babe. God, man. Hollywood Guy says yes for Friday 13th. Okay, so that's $5 to Friday 13th. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, we're going to run through this real quick. Kill, I know you're up against the clock. If you got to go, let me know. But for right now, Eric, let's start with you.
Sure.
Quick takes on how this went as I count up the points.
This was a great one. It's I always love when we do the originals against each other, and I'm glad we picked the final chapter because it's usually in everyone's top 3. Maybe different places, but it's usually in their top 3. Strong competitors. I'm happy that Freddy got some love tonight because when it comes to the big killers, when it comes to like horror and stuff like that, it seems like he kind of gets forgotten over Jason and Michael and even Ghostface at times. You know what I mean? When it comes to horror, he's in the back seat with Leatherface, waiting for their turn to come back and shine. So I'm happy Freddy got some love tonight. Halloween is a great film, and Friday the 13th. That is my favorite Jason Ted White. So it was a very, very, very strong competitor tonight. This was a lot of fun. Kill.
This one was so interesting, and just to have these 3 movies from the trinity of franchises here, and it's just so funny. Friday has always been out there doing the damn thing. Nightmare became such a pop culture icon. Freddy started jumping the shark. Halloween has been out there, and it's just like, hey, I'm Halloween. You know what I do? I'm that dependable, vehicle that's been there. I've had some low points, but then the new trilogies came back out, and it's just like, hey, guess who's still freaking here and still doing it since 78, baby. I'm still here. I've had my dark times. I've had my cult of thorn times, but I'm still out here, baby. I'm still giving you what you need. I'm going into your house. I'm choosing knives. I'm shoving them into people, testing which one I want right in front of your face.
What is going on here?
And poor Nightmare. I mean, Nightmare's just out there like, hey, I might come back. And Friday is like, hey, what's going on?
We got a TV show coming.
So, but guys, if you haven't watched these in a while, check them out. These are literally the best, some of the best ones of each of these franchises easily. Just like Eric said, these are all 3 of these are in the top 3 of each franchise.
Yeah,
easily. So you can't go wrong. And this was fun, and I knew it would be crazy.
It was absolutely crazy. And this score is absolutely crazy because not only did we have negative votes that made a huge difference, but we did have some audience participation, which we really appreciate. So with a score of 19 to 28 to 25 before the audience participation, it then changes to 19 to 33 to 40. Okay, the winner, which it went right on over with the audience participation earlier in the chat. The winner is New Jersey.
Yes.
Jason had 25 points and Halloween had 28. But we counted up the super chats and it went 33 to 40.
Wow.
And Elm Street would have had 25 points if it wasn't for the negatives for Rod's kill.
Mm-hmm.
So we almost had pretty much the same score for all 3.
Damn bed sheets, man! I tell you,
the bed sheets, bro. You got to use them the right way. You know what to do. Gosh, this isn't the first time. Let me stop. Anyways, Corey Anderson, happy. Oh yeah. All right, the New Jersey is no joke, man. All right, so listen, we appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us. This was a lot of fun. We hadn't had a chance to do a Battle World in a long time with all the schedules going on, summer stuff, moving, jobs changing, all of that stuff. So we appreciate the support, and we plan to jump in again and go with our next matchup, hopefully next week. So we hope that you guys will be here. Put on the notification hit it to all, and just be ready for us on Sunday nights for Battle World. And we will catch you guys next time. And as always, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.
Cheers.
Viva New Jersey.